pastors, ministry leaders, and future ministers. I'm Saehee, and this is Crystal, and we're so excited you're joining us today.
Our podcast is designed to offer tangible leadership competencies that you can apply to any ministry context.
That's right. And so today in our Grow Together segment, we're going to talk about time management. So if you're like me and Crystal, you're probably wearing multiple hats, sometimes all at once. I'm in a pretty busy season. I'm a mom, wife and all that, but I'm also a student, police chaplain and professor and all of these things that I don't even remember what I do sometimes. And so it's kind of important that we need to have this good practice of time management. Otherwise, you can get lost in your own days.
Yeah, it's so true, Saehee. And watching you on Facebook kind of even exhausts me. So I hope I hope you are getting some sleep. But yes, the same with me. I am in a busy season with traveling and working with Chi Alpha full time, and then also the Network of Women Ministers. And I'm locally at Central Assembly of God here in town. And so there's multiple hats, as well as nurturing a marriage and loving my kids well. So navigating and negotiating that takes new time management, and it takes new styles of time management in every season.
Yeah, but you make it very easy. And people sometimes ask you and me, like, how do you do this? Just the other day, I got a phone call from one of my dear mentees, and she moved away to another state, but she called me, and because she follows me and other social medias, and so she just recently married too. And so this is a very new season. So she called me and said, okay, Saehee, I need you to tell me your secret. How do you do this? And I told her, there's no secret, and I said, it's very simple. You just have to take one day at a time with God's help. Yes. And that's all I could tell her, because sometimes that's it. It comes down to one day or even every hour. You have to depend on the Holy Spirit for that strength and time management. Yes. But today we're going to try to unpack this to help you. I know you're in a very, very busy season also. And so we're going to help each other to do this better so we can become better ministers.
Yeah, the first thing I like to think about is decluttering my to-do list. And the thing about declutter is it's kind of like thinking about decluttering your closet.
Yes.
So what are the things that bring you joy? What are the things you do the best? Now, when I was a young mom, I remember decluttering my to-do list looked like only doing laundry one day a week. So that because when I cluttered up every day of the week with laundry, it went into ministry, and I just had to declutter. So I had to do it one day a week, and that was the way I decluttered my list. But right now, one of the ways that I'm decluttering my to-do list is through delegation. And so one of my, Clifton Strength Finder strengths is maximizer. I love to find the best in people and call it out of them. So a busy season is a time to work with other people, see what God is birthing and doing in them, and sometimes delegate part of my to-do list to other people whenever I can. So delegating can be a great way to declutter a list. But there's lots of other ways. Do you have any other ways that you've used to declutter your to-do list?
Just even sitting down and evaluating my day-to-day life. And I think that's pretty important. In fact, it leads to the second point. Categorize your responsibilities. What are the reoccurring events or responsibilities you have during this season, and sort them by weekly, monthly, and yearly categories. And you can see, I love having this bifocal vision about, okay, what do I need to do now, but what do I need to do in the next few months and in this given year. And that helps me do time management even more wisely.
Yes, and I think it's part of owning your schedule and not letting other people own it.
Yeah.
So part of when you categorize, then you're taking ownership. Otherwise, the little things in life will just overtake you. We often call it the tyranny of the urgent, but those little things that can take all your time. I mean, literally Walmart can take 2 hours if I let it.
That's
but
right.
if I've already categorized my time and realized I only have 20 minutes in Walmart, then I know heading in that I'm going to have to move quick, and I'm going to have a list, because in order for me to manage my day, I'm going to have to do 20 minutes. Otherwise, if I wasn't intentional, if I hadn't categorized, I could literally walk down the aisle and those pioneer women things there at Walmart will just suck me in.
Yeah.
So yes, it's important that
You
we
can
categorize
either
and
your calendar. Yeah, either own your calendar or be owned by your calendar, right? That's very, very difficult. Also, when you're categorizing, though, make sure you put in Sabbath.
Yes.
And you have to protect it and guard it. That's where the strength comes from.
Yes.
You can reset and start over. It helps you be very refreshed throughout that season of life, especially if you're in a very busy season. You cannot not do that.
So true. You do a good job at that, Saehee.
I'm trying.
You do a
Yeah.
good job. The third thing I'd say is to watch out for time-consuming activities. Now, I mentioned Walmart. That's a time-consuming activity for me. I can just, go in and just spend way too much time, or shopping the mall. There's just things that can consume me. But another thing that consume me sometimes is, I mentioned in our last podcast that I just like to chat with friends. And so I work in a very social office.
Yeah.
And so sometimes just the chatting can keep you off task.
Yes.
And one of the things that I've done as I categorize my day is I pay attention to the core value of what I need that day. So for me, chatting with friends actually rejuvenates me.
Yes.
And so if rejuvenation is what I need that day, then I'll let myself have more time. But if a task is what I need to put, then I will kind of rein that in so that I can actually accomplish the task. So I think paying attention to your core value of the day, what you need, how you've categorized it, and then pay attention to those things that can just waste time.
That's true. One of my pitfalls is the social media. And the reason why is I'm in so many groups that I manage for ministries. And even in my own church, there are several groups for different target audience and small groups, life groups. So because of that, I'm constantly like checking. And I realized one day I've spent way too much time and I didn't get to do what I needed to do. So
That can happen.
yeah, successful people, they will just pay attention to that and maybe even schedule your social media time. And either get it done early or do it late, and protect that time so you can be productive throughout the day.
So good.
Now, go to bed on time and start your day early is another tip that you can do to manage your time. Many
Did you write this, Saehee? We're really supposed to go to bed early.
We're laughing because we have not been, and we're preaching to ourselves, right?
Yes,
Yeah, but most successful people, they will rise early. They're early risers, and they tend to accomplish more things throughout the day. Now, everybody is given 24 hours a day, but what you decide to do is all up to you. And sometimes if you're not careful about it, and if you don't go to bed on time and wake up early, then you can just lose track of it. What is your typical bedtime?
I go to bed early. I'm on farmer's schedule.
Yeah.
So definitely. I work within a Chi Alpha context, and probably most of my Chi Alpha people watching are late night people because students are late night. So you got to give grace for the season you're in. But since I'm in more of an office setting right now, then I'm in bed by pretty much 10 to 10:30, pretty much every night.
That's kind of average though.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
So.
But then your husband wakes up pretty early.
Oh, he's like 4 a.m., 4:35. I cannot get up that early, Saehee. But I do get up in time to have devotionals and be ready for my day so that I can get to work in a good time. So,
And I think this sounds like a no-brainer, go to bed on time and wake up early. But we're telling you this because we understand that this generation, that's a very, very bad habit. I'm talking to myself too. I set my alarm to go to bed at 10:30.
Good
But
job.
I go even past that many, many nights. And sometimes I find myself working on the paper, like season you're talking about.
Yes.
And so there is a grace period. However, you can't just do that every single
get in
night.
a good rhythm of going to sleep and going to bed at a good time and getting up.
Yeah, time management. It seems easy, but it's harder than
It's harder
you
than we
think.
say.
Yeah. Well, now is the time to answer one of your questions, which I am very excited about this particular one. How do we overcome the temptation of comparing my ministry with others? Very good one. And I think I have fallen into this category more than I want to admit it, more often than I want to admit it. Yeah. And part of it is to start with recognizing that, yes, I am having this jealousy or whatever it is. If it's a jealousy, am I jealous about this? What is it that I'm feeling at this moment, and diagnosing myself? I think that's a good start.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I feel like for me, jealousy has been something that's appeared in different seasons. It's almost like an onion peel. I think I've dealt with it, and then another season will bring a new sense of jealousy. And at certain seasons of my life, I've been jealous with people with more power than me. And then in certain seasons of my life, I found myself jealous of people with more rest time than me. And in my season right now, as I've just launched kids into their adulthood, I think I'm jealous of people with little kids. I'm like, they're getting to pour Lucky Charms and buy fun cereal, and I'm just having to eat boring eggs. So I think every season, even when I think I've overcome comparison and I've stepped and I've walked through jealousy and I've repented and I've said, okay, Lord, then it'll reemerge in another season, and I'll have to really reevaluate my heart and spirit. And so one of the things that has helped me with that is, instead of paying attention to my lack and what I don't have, I really try to celebrate what others do have. And so instead of saying, oh, poor me, I don't have any Lucky Charms in my house anymore, I'm like, wow, them. Instead of poor me, it's wow, them. And it gives me an opportunity to celebrate my sisters and my brothers, whether, you can be jealous of both our sisters and our brothers. And so really looking at it a time, instead of the woe is me or what I lack, looking at what others have, and use that as a springboard for celebration. And usually I can get out of that kind of potential jealousy spot if I can switch that in my mind really quick and not walk in shame. I think it's something we all deal with. Social media makes it worse because we see very clearly in beautiful pictures what other people are doing and their celebrations, and sometimes instead of us just celebrating it points to lack, things that we don't have. And so I think that magnifies it. And so just not to walk in shame, to quickly recognize it, speak it out, begin to use it as kindling for celebration. And I found that God has really helped me in this area. The second thing I'd say too is comparison and jealousy. Sometimes I've actually had what I'd call spiritual jealousy, like where the Lord has placed in me something that I see in my future that I don't actually have yet. And so I'm jealous for that. I'm jealous for that next season. I'm jealous for that next maybe appointment in ministry. And I know that it's not selfish jealousy. I know that it's the Lord has put that in my belly and he's pushing me towards something. And that's a different thing. And then I look to people that have it and I'm like, God, I want what they have. Show me what they're doing and let me have what they have. And it shifts me from, again, a lack mentality, but a mentality of, oh, wow, God, you're pouring something new inside of me that somebody else has. And then I look toward them as a real mentor in my life.
Yeah, that's good. That's a holy jealousy.
Yep. Sometimes there's a holy jealousy.
Yeah. And having this perspective, kingdom perspective, and I love it how you said celebrate other people's wins. And because that's how we build God's kingdom. And so to think that I'm not the only one who's going to be able to accomplish this task, but somebody else is doing it. Wow, well done. I'm happy for you and I'm happy for us, because it really is the part of God's work, God's whole kingdom work. Wow, I love this conversation. And I pray that you and I become masters of our time management and just we need to walk through this together. This is not a simple task. Every season looks so different, but we're going to get it done. And so in whatever season you're in, we're praying for you. And I know you can do this and inspire others through your story as well. We're going to do this together. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Age Woman Ministers. And until every woman fulfills her ministerial call, just remember, we're in this together.